I'm just getting set up. Does not seem to want to stay without tipping over. So, okay, we are going to be working on Lord Farquaad's nose and the rest of his face. For his nose, I have picked out some grays. We already started with some grays to begin with, but I have also picked out a little bit more. So we have the warm gray 2, as well as the cold gray 6, nougat, and we also have the dark indigo. Because if you look in the dark areas of the nose, it has actually got a bit of a blue tinge to it. So we are going to put that in there. So what I'm going to do, we do have an area that has a little bit of these little markings in them. And I'm going to put them in, but I'm going to mark them off first with the gray, with the, specifically the cold gray 6. I'm just going to mark them off really lightly. Just going to bring this up and make it bigger so I can see it. So we are not filling in the little squares, but we're just creating where the little dry squares are on his nose. Like that. A bit darker. Just because when we bring the nougat in, they're not going to be as noticeable. And we're going to come in with the nougat and just lightly fill in the areas of the little squares at the top of the nose. Got the light areas here. We're going to come in with the warm gray 2. Over those lightly at first. And we're just building in these lighter areas. They're not going to stay like this, but this is how we're going to start them. So we're just doing light circular pencil strokes with the light pressure there. Okay? And then we're going to take this blue indigo or dark indigo. We're going to go into those dark areas that we mapped off before. And just lightly, when you move your hand back on the pencil, if you're one for doing heavier pressure, just lightly put in the blue indigo right over top of the gray that we had in before. Okay. Over. Circular pencil strokes. And then we'll make our way down the nose into the mouth area, which I believe actually is pretty dark, but we'll still go in with the dark indigo. And right here. Okay, and then we're going to go back in with the gray, the gray 6. And we're going to go over the entire thing minus the nougat. So we're just going to do a very light pressure over everything. So it'll still keep, it'll kind of blend the colors together in different areas of the nose. but it'll still give us a nice light area where the reflection is on the nose. Okay, and again, just light pencil strokes, light pressure. You can do light to medium if it feels too light in certain areas. And then just doing those circular motions with the pencil. Sorry, you hear my neighbors upstairs. Okay. This area we may have to darken up, obviously, but just gonna come in with the same pressure at first, then we'll see where we're at. Okay. You might actually have to come in with a black along the bottom here. It gets quite dark. See what happens when we use the Payne's gray into the dark areas. Is our Payne's gray. So we're just gonna go over the same area down in the muzzle area here, but with the Payne's gray. Just got to move the way I'm sitting. My leg is crimped. There we go. Going over the whole thing with light to medium pressure, because we naturally are going to have those areas that we lightened first be lightened up. Okay. Before we go up here with it, we're going to add some more blue indigo or dark indigo into that area again in the dark areas. We're just going to get this first. It's quite dark. So we're just building up the color. So light to medium pressure. Just at the bottom part of the mouth. And then this is going to fizzle out into other areas. So I'm going to take the black next, just in this area below the nose, and just lightly go over top. Still want it to be like a dark, dark, deep gray. We're just going to bring that black in to deepen it. We're going to get the dark indigo again, go into those dark areas, light to medium pressure, just in the dark areas. And yes, you're going to see the indigo color a bit more this time, and it's okay. It'll be covered up again. We kind of want that hint of blue underneath. So we want to show a little bit. And right along here. We're going to come in with the Payne's gray. Over with medium pressure over the dark areas, not the light areas yet. Is to get them in there. And here. I'm starting with the light pressure and building in the light areas with the Payne's gray. I think we can do light to medium pressure here too. I'll cover the nougat. Go just up to there. Okay. And we're going to go in with the black, not go over it this time. We're going to go in with the black and go back in around the nose and just marking these lines a little bit better. Just so that way it's nice and dark still. I'm gonna come in on this side, do the same thing. Around the area where the nougat is. Okay. Then we're gonna come back with the cold gray 6. Lightly go over the whole thing. Trying to avoid the black we just put back in there. Just to sort of blend in the grays. Okay. We don't want it to go too dark into the areas that have a bit of sun touching it, but we do want to make sure we have blended in enough in those areas too. Okay. Payne's gray to do some of these markings. So in here, we have a line that comes down. Off right about here. And then there's a little line that comes out of that right here. One up here. Here. And there's a little line. Another one right here. One right here. Right about here. The gray comes in pretty thickly right towards the corner of the mouth. So I'm just being careful and bringing it in lightly at first, and then I'll darken it in. For now. And then this comes down back around his mouth. Got some, his mouth has white around the lips, but there is a bit of dark right just above that. So we're gonna put two, and then just a little bit right here. Seems to be. Dark, and right here with the tongue. There's a great area right here. Take that. We're just gonna go along that mouth line here. Along it right here. It stays pretty dark along the bottom. But there is white along here. And then in parts here. And we're gonna bring it down. So most of this is gonna end up being black. We're just coming in with the Payne's gray right now, just marking in the spots, and then right here, dark area. Okay, and then on the other side, it is quite thick, but it comes down. Dip to about there. And then he has here that comes right off of this marking, and it's almost like strip. It was like that. And then right here, he's got another strip that starts, it's not even so much a strip as it is the markings themselves. Markings in, around his nose, line, here, like this, a little circular mark right there. And then he's got another one that comes out of this one. Down. One right here. Pencil strokes. And still keeping a light pressure. We can darken these areas up after we get them in, just where we want them. Okay, and then right at the corner, right below his tongue, yeah. Tongue, and then right here, gray. Mouth. And then below it, it goes into a black. Pinky color right there. So I'm going to bring this down to about here. And right now, as each layer goes on. Then I'm going to grab that black and just map in of black starts right about and then it goes up here. See if I can, little part right there. Just because it does get a little pinky in there. So we would like to keep that in there. This area will be black. So I'm just going to build it up with a light to medium pressure. Further. It doesn't look like it makes sense right at the moment, but it will. And then right here, there's a bit of black. It's down, and the gray seems to come in. Need to keep this. It'll just depend on how it looks at the time when we start bringing in the tongue and stuff. But for now, that is what it looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this area. It's dark, and then the mouth, because the tongue, okay, there is which is quite light. Here. Okay. So here. Area up right here. Of the mouth. And then we're going to bring in a lighter gray. In a moment, we're just getting this dark area in. Let's see. And then it seems to be coming off of here. Pencil strokes coming off of here. Nose too. Lightly coming out as well. I'm does it here. Yep. So here it's actually quite thick. Down here. Comes around this guy. Better. And then bring it down. Just doing light pressure with the Payne's Gray around the nose area that's dark. And just doing those circular pencil strokes, blending it in. But it is going to sort of speckle out this way. There does seem to almost be a bit of pink in it, which makes me wonder, might use a bit of cinnamon or beige red. I'm going to try the beige red. It starts at the top of the nose here. Doing very light pressure at first, just to see how it looks. Nose. It down. Comes down the nose. Side two. So I'm staying pretty close to the edge and doing pretty light pressure. Neat little pinky tone that it has there. And then it comes down very faintly. So I'm just lightly kind of brushing in little tiny pencil strokes of the beige red. And then it gets deeper again on the underside here. What we need to bring in, I'm gonna grab the Payne's Gray, bring in a little bit more thickness to this area. It's still quite thick here. Just sort of bring in this beige red just below there. It comes down right to here. So we're just doing it faintly, feather-like strokes right around this first little wrinkle. Okay. And some more little light pencil strokes, just little tiny hair-like strokes around there. And then it does seem to come up again right in here. It's to come out right around this guy. And then it fades out. Watch the fur direction, because it is coming in. And then there's going to be other colors in here too. The Payne's Gray again. And we're going to just thicken up this area. We're doing a medium pressure with those circular pencil strokes. Okay. We're going to do some of the Payne's Gray right into this area here. Just deepening it up, darkening it up just a bit more. And then we're lightening it as we go outwards. And then there seems to be right to this white area some gray hairs. So we're going to bring them in there too. And then they want to go on a curve with the mouth. And then lightly in this direction, the same thing. Just lightly bring some of those gray hairs in. And then they come down lightly around this little dark spot. And then a little line of them here. And then on the side here they go up. Here. There. Put the black into this little area in the corner. And we're just going to darken this up. Gray again, because just around there, you'll see some darker gray. There. Black again. A little bit more thickly. About there. So we've got the black underside here. This is sort of like the lips, I guess you would say. On the top. On the bottom, they're quite black. Mm. And then it seems to come up right around the side of the tongue here, so we're going to get that in there. In. Okay. Yeah. So we're just filling in sort of the gums areas around the tongue with the black, and then we'll come in with the pink. Got where it comes in a little bit. This is quite black across the little lips here. So we're going to bring them in. This little teeth, a couple of them showing along the bottom. There is a light area. Actually, this seems to go more like this, doesn't it? So we're going to do that. And then there is a line right about here where the teeth are. Area here. So part of the tongue comes in. Nice thing is the tongue has got black around it, so we can kind of draw it in. The tongue kind of comes in like that. Actually, more like black. And right here, there is a light area. And the highlight that we'll put in. Is there another one that we see? So we're just going in lightly and then building the pressure once we get it in the right spot. And then this area is quite black. And then just double checking, this is quite black right up until the teeth. So there's one tooth that shows right about there. Here. And then we see another one back here, very faintly, but it is there. Okay, so we'll put this all in as dark. And right around here is dark as well. And then these are going to be pretty much filled in, so you'll barely notice the teeth once the shadow comes in, but the thing is that they are still there, so they deserve to be hidden there a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to bring the black around there. And then this part of the mouth is really dark. So it goes, there's the line on the tongue. Comes in like this. Back out like that. Really black. This is just like a really dark gray. Right here is very black. So we're going to build the black in right here. Again. Building it up. And then in here, we're going to put the Payne's gray in. Up to really dark. The black into this area a little bit just by doing those circular motions, dragging the black into the gray. Okay. And this is going to be the pink area. Now the gray is going to come down into this pink area a little more, but I'm going to leave it at that for now because I'd like a layer of pink over that. Okay. So then we're going to work towards here. I would like to put a little bit more of the beige red in here. Okay. See how it comes down into here again. I like to just deepen that up too. Going in the direction of the fur. A little bit right here. And then under here. More. So this side we have it coming down. There's a little bit right in here, but not much. We'll still put it in. And along this little gray line. but we'll bring it in regardless, so that way it's there. And then we're gonna come in with the Payne's Gray again. Okay, on this side. We're just gonna bring in light wispy hairs in the direction the fur goes. Get lighter the further away from the mouth that we get, further away from the center of the mouth. So we're just sort of bringing it out, sort of like this, just light wispy pencil strokes, light pressure. Okay. Just like that. And then it gets a little bit darker right here. So we'll put that in, that little curve. Okay. Direction of that fur. And it kind of curls up like this. And since we are in a wrinkle there. And then we're gonna come up here, but I'm going to grab the, where did that lighter gray go? We've got the Cool Gray 5. I'd like to go something lighter than that. Let's go with the Cool Gray 4. And we're just gonna lightly put in some gray hairs, but they're gonna go on a slant, remember, like on a slight curve. And then come up here above the nose. Just gotta fix the way I'm sitting. About halfway up the little wrinkle, we're just gonna come up and do the curves. And then I just wanna check and see how far, okay? I'm gonna keep going. Make sure you're going on a curve the way it does in the picture. A bit further, it's about halfway, it's a bigger wrinkle. And then smaller. Going downwards again, right about here. And they're gonna blend into these guys here. And go right around the mouth, lightly. Right into those grays here. And it's going to come down lightly right here. Okay. And that's where we get the pinkiness here. But here, we're just gonna put in here above the lips. And then just light little feather strokes. Watch the direction of the fur. Make sure it's extremely small feather strokes because they are very tiny hairs. So we want them to be tiny on here as well. Okay, I'm just moving up towards the nose. Okay. And then we'll come back here and do the same thing on this side. Check this here, they there. They only come about halfway through that wrinkle and stop. So we're just going to deepen this wrinkle a little bit, just a little bit. And then they come down here. Okay. And then into here. And even come in and take these little black marks that I created before. Little black lines, we can take them out now since we don't need them. Okay. Going back in with the cool gray 4. And then, let's see. Just want to see here. He's got this little area here that attaches to his little cute face. And then we've got under here, we've got quite a bit of dark area under here as well. I'm going to mark it in first with the cool gray 4. I'm going to get rid of those lines, the gray lines I made in the beginning. I'm just doing so lightly so that way I can still faintly see them, but they're not going to be covered unless I lighten them up. So we're just going to do this whole area going in the direction of the fur, sort of under his lip area or his bottom jaw. And we're just bringing in the cool gray 4 lightly. And then we'll go over in black in the areas that it's necessary to. But right now, there is more cool gray than anything else. So I'd like to make sure we capture that in the right spots. Okay, so just lightly getting it in there. Just doing another few layers over top just to get it in there into the tooth of the paper. Okay. And then go around here, right up under here. Okay. And then on that side should be the pink. Okay. Just trying to figure out what we're looking at here as we go. So there's the pink. Okay, and then we're going to come in with, we're actually going to come in with the Payne's gray and just go above the gray we just did and mark in the darker areas that aren't quite black. And then move our way up. So while I was in a break between the last video and this one, it is the 10th of October, and I'm in southeastern Ontario. So we had a major Northern Lights show. We don't normally get Northern Lights, but this year we have, and I've always seemed to miss them because of the sky being too cloudy. But tonight, or I just missed them at the time that they're on, tonight I was finally able to catch them. My dad, who lives about an hour away, same thing, he was able to catch them too. And even my friend in North Carolina, down in the States, was able to catch them, which is really cool. Obviously, all different varying levels, but still really neat and special to be able to catch that. Okay, so black we'll bring in. So the black kind of comes down into this Payne's gray a little bit. We're just going to sort of blend it in. We're not going super hard strokes, we're going lightly and just sort of blending all the colors together, even the lighter gray. Okay. So we're just going to sort of bring this in like this. Okay. And this one comes in like this. And we're just sort of going over here. And we've got one kind of comes down like this. Okay, and then this one here. It's actually quite dark, and then here. And this one's quite dark, right up in here. Okay. And come back in with the Payne's Gray. And deepen it all up. Light to medium pressure. Still doing those circular strokes with the pencil. Okay. And then we're going to come back in with the cold gray 4, and we're just going to follow along and deepen up some of these pencil strokes. Might actually come in with the Payne's Gray actually, and we're going to do very choosy marks. So along here, we're going to deepen our lines a little bit. Okay, and then right here, like that. And then we're going to do the same thing we did with the cool gray 4, but even lighter. And we're just going to come in, just do tiny little feather pencil strokes, just to show where it's darker, and so that this isn't like a Hitler stash. We want to have it kind of blend outwards on the mouth. So we're kind of bringing it outwards like this. Okay. And then this area here, kind of comes down. A neat little dip here. And then goes into the rest here. Okay, I'm going to keep it light, but we are going to sort of create a bit of depth by increasing that line. Okay, and then we're going to come down around here and then start moving the lines back into that curved direction. We're just going to do a light little dusting of the Payne's Gray along the way as a shadow. So we are doing the little curved marks, but right along the line there, we're just going to come in lightly and create a nice little shadow. Okay. And it comes down along the bottom here. Okay. We're just going to deepen up these lines as well. Okay, and then we've got the pink to brighten, but I would like to check here. Maybe bring this in just a little bit lightly, just that little square. Just gonna lightly dust over these lines we've done in the Payne's gray very, very lightly. Okay. I like that. Okay. It does get a little bit darker right here, doesn't it? And off the blonde as well. Okay. So next, we're going to work on the tongue and the gums, and then we will be done for the night since we are at an hour already. And I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too much all at the same time. So we're going to start. I don't know what time it is for me. It is, it's only 10. Only a little after 10. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do, I have the beige pink, but I also have the cinnamon, or the beige red, sorry. Then I also have the cinnamon. I might come in with just light circular strokes with the beige red all over the tongue to start. Watch the teeth there. We're gonna darken the teeth in a minute because they're not that noticeable, but you know, I don't like that weird area underneath there, and I think I might actually just take it out. Purely because I don't think it's going to make sense. So we're just going to cover that in with the Payne's gray. You can keep it in if you want, but I'm not going to. Okay, so I'm just gonna fix a couple of marks that are going into my tongue area that I don't want. Okay, is that gonna go? That's gonna go around and back under. Okay. So again, we've got the beige red. I'm getting a light to medium pressure over the entire tongue. Now it's almost a little too peachy-like in essence, but it's a good base because it just is. It's nice and light, but still fleshy. So I like that idea. Okay, now the pink comes down and goes in there. And then I'm going to, I got the cinnamon out. I just want to see. The cinnamon might work. It's almost got like a purpley, like a violet to it. I'm gonna go over the entire thing with the cinnamon first now. Just lightly with the round pencil strokes again. And then we're gonna see what else we're gonna add in here because there is some like violet-y colors in this tongue. And I want to be able to be sure we capture that, but in a realistic way. And in order to do that, I find the best way is if you have something underneath it that will help keep it nice and smooth, the paper. Because So if you're just doing it straight on paper, it's going to come on darker. But if there's a color underneath it, which would be our base color of the pink, this is cinnamon at the moment. We're going over the beige red. It'll give it something to sort of glide onto. But I want to make sure I get the right tongue color for the rest of it first. Okay. So we want more of a pink tone. Pink carmine might work. If not, light magenta. Light magenta might actually be perfect. That's the salmon. Where's the salmon? I'm thinking the rose carmine. There's the purple pink, actually. That might be even better. And that would make more sense, a violet coming through as well. There's a light magenta. I'm gonna take that out, because that might be a good blender. Is it middle purple pink? And then we've got just purple pink. I like just the purple pink color. I think it'll be better. There's purple violet. But I'm thinking light red violet. A light magenta. I would like some of that purple pink. This light purple pink. And it's middle. I'm wondering. There it is. That'll be why we couldn't find it. Okay. So I would like to start off with the light purple pink. Just around the outside first, just to sort of see what we're dealing with here. Very light circular pencil strokes just around the end where it's a bit pinker. Okay, it comes down a little bit thicker here. And even thicker on this side, where the tongue goes back up. might do is even bring a little ivory over top of that just to lighten it up. We are going to bring the pink down thickly on the side, lighter, not as thick of a line here. Okay. And then, let's see here. It gets quite a bit lighter, which makes me almost want to go to the mauve or the lavender. Set that down for a second. These two colors. This is the magenta, light magenta. Yeah, and lightly it gives it more of that light color. So I'm gonna just very gently feather, just very light pressure, circular motions right over top of the rest of the tongue here. Okay. I'm just building it up slowly over top of the more peachier colors. I'm actually going down with the curve of the tongue as it goes down. It may not seem to make a difference because we're doing the circular pencil strokes, but it does make it sort of come alive there. Like give it more of that curve. Okay. Just doing a light to medium pressure now. Making sure we get right up against the edge there. Okay. I'm actually gonna take the white and go right over the center area where we just laid down the light magenta. We're just gonna lighten it a little bit. Just a little bit. And just blend it better with the other colors that were underneath. And we're just avoiding the rim of the tongue where it's a little bit darker. Okay, light to medium pressure of the white. Like that. And then we're going to come back in with the light pink purple or light purple pink. And we're just going to re-get those edges again. It just sort of goes up on the corner there and then comes down. It comes around the tongue here. It comes up quite thickly on the side. Okay. And then we're just going to take that white again, right over top of that pink with the light purple pink. And we're just going to sort of blend it into the rest of the pink. And then we're going to go back over this other area with the light magenta, avoiding that pink area we just did. We're going to come in and do another layer, the light magenta. Okay. Now we're going to come in very sparingly where we can see a little bit of, this is purple violet, and it's going to be very light. So just along the rim here, the tongue, I'm just going lightly where there's a bit of shadow on the base of the tongue. And then we see a little bit right here, and just a little bit of a shadow. Just very, very lightly bringing it in. And then a little bit right here. Okay, and then just along here, the rim of the tongue here. And then right about here, we notice it come down to about here. So right about here, and then it comes back in around here. Okay, so just in here, we're just gonna lightly build up a bit of the purple violet. We're going to do so very lightly because we don't want it to look too purpley. We want it to be more of a shadow. Little tiny circular pencil strokes, very, very lightly, remember. And then it goes back here. Just let the buildup of the pencil do the job, not the pressure. You want the pressure to be very light. And then it comes out. Okay, it starts to come out right about here. There is a very faint little bit of shadow right here. Very, very, very faintly. And then again, right about here. Very faintly. Okay. And then we're going to take that light magenta. Just go into those areas that we just put the purple violet in, and we're just gonna blend it in. But just light to medium pencil strokes right over that violet, that purple violet, and just blending it in more. Okay. Bring this back out this way. Okay, and then we're going to take a little bit of the cold gray 6, and we're going to do right over top of that purple violet, very lightly, over the whole thing that we had just done. We're going to bring it up here, just over the shadowed areas. Okay. And then again, that light fuchsia. Just blending that gray right into the color. Okay. And it looks like Lord Farquaad's area here is just about done. We're going to get the cold gray 4, and just below where these really dark areas are here, there is some lighter little spots right here. So we're just gonna get them in there too. And it comes lightly over here, and then a little bit right here, and then across just slightly, and then we've got a nice lighter area here, which comes into the sky here. And then comes back up. Actually, this area right here does not exist, so I don't know why I'm putting it in there. Not that it really matters, but it'll irritate me knowing it's there and it shouldn't be. Okay, so we're just coming up there, and then the light area here. Just joins into his cute little face on the side. And he's got his little bump, his little wrinkle. Okay. And it looks like his face is done. So in the next video, we will be doing his neck and his bandana and his little fringe on the side and going down the front of his legs into his feet. And then we should be done. So count on finishing up in the video after this or the one right after that. But we're gonna get a big chunk done next time. All right, take care guys, and I'll see you soon.